Hello and welcome to another episode of Issues and Insights. I'm Bryce Shoemake from Hardin County Government. We got a great group for you all today as we talk about some different things that are going on in technology in Hardin County Government. So today with me I've got our Deputy Judge Executive, Daniel London.
Thanks.
Daniel, welcome to our
Great
show
to be here.
today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And our new staffer, our new person is our Public Information Officer, Leslie Ashlock.
Hello.
Leslie, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Daniel, I want to go to you first and talk about when you first came on, and it's been a little while now, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it's going on 5 years now.
Yeah, man.
It's hard to
time
believe. It
went
goes by fast.
Time goes by fast when you're having fun.
That's right.
When you started, you wanted to bring in some new technology to Hardin County government. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. One of the things I found where we were not technologically savvy at all, and one of my key initiatives has been optimization over taxation, meaning bringing in revenue to the county that is non-tax revenue to take that tax burden off of citizens. And we've been very successful in doing that. But part of that optimization is efficiency and making the organization data driven, and that was something that was lacking. So we've incorporated some software that gives me dashboards each and every day as overseeing operations that I can measure each department and their performance. Particularly animal care and control was a great example. We were able to take them from a shelter that had a live release rate of approximately 60,000 to a pro-life shelter. They're about 95% live release rate or live outcome, and increase their revenue, which obviously helps us be pro-life. And one of the things that has enabled me to do that, obviously, is the technology that I can measure that on a daily basis and how well that they're performing. And
by doing so, you're able to make sure that dollars that our citizens give us to operate and other dollars go farther than what some people think, because I know some have thought that we're not fully utilizing our dollars the way we should, and actually we're stretching them so thin sometimes we can see through it.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's maximum impact. For example, we have a full-time veterinary now for the animal shelter. When I came on board, we had 2 part-time vets who had retired, who did great work for us. They gave us a day a week each. Now we have a full-time vet. All that was paid for through partnerships and collaboration through the community. No tax dollars have gone to that salary, and we've been able to continue that and, again, increase revenue without increasing taxes. And that increases our chances of having a live outcome for the animal as well as better health care while they're in the shelter.
And sometimes, unless we toot our own horn, some people may not realize how well we do utilize dollars that are given to us from the public, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you look at our shelter compared to other shelters around the state, we are much more efficiently staffed than other shelters by the tune of about 20%. Now, we have a great team at our shelter, and they will tell you, hey, we love what we do. We don't feel like there's undue burden because we have less staff than, say, another county. But again, they make those dollars count in everything that they do. So we're very blessed by that work ethic.
And one of the new technological aspects that you brought on board, it just kind of recently, is TextMyGov.
Yeah, and that's one that we've been particularly excited about because as we deal with our phones, obviously it runs my life, and I'm sure a lot of other people are in that same boat. But when you're out and about, we want to make sure that you had a convenient way to communicate with us. It doesn't take the place of a phone call. If you want to call us, we are still absolutely as accessible as we were before. But if you see a pothole, if you're like me, you see it and think, hey, I need to call someone when I get an opportunity, then you forget about it. But now with TextMyGov, you can take a picture of it, shoot it to us, 270-951-0951, text that to us, and it automatically goes into our dashboard software, our constituent relations management software that I've instituted, and it goes exactly to the department that it needs to go to. And then they can keep track of it, and then I have a way through my dashboard to make sure that it's being responded to. And again, part of that management feedback and holding our staff accountable.
Now, folks, we're not asking you to text while you're driving because it is against the law to text while you're driving in the state of Kentucky. So we want you to understand that this is not something that you do on the move.
Okay.
It's you can take a picture of that, go back,
Absolutely.
take a picture of it, and then text that once you get to a stop, okay?
So, and use keywords like pothole, road department, trash, and then again, it will ask you certain questions to make sure that we understand exactly what the issue is. And if for some reason it doesn't understand you, it actually sends us an alert, and then we'll follow up. And again, I get that report every morning of everything that's come in to make sure that the staff has followed up, just to make sure it's that secondary look and accountability. And we're loving this software. It has made things so much easier for everyone, and we really appreciate people participating, and we want more participation.
Sure. And Leslie, that's one of the things you're doing in your public information role is putting that thing, that information, that thing.
That thing.
That thing you do. That sounds like a
We've
good
got some
movie.
people still catching up, as you can tell.
So,
I mean, I know what you meant.
yeah, so you are putting that out on social media constantly, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We're pushing it.
All right. And with that being said, kind of tell people what TextMyGov is all about. Daniel kind of gave us a little bit, but tell folks what it's all about.
So TextMyGov is a pre-messaging text database, which means there's an artificial intelligence kind of behind this. So if it's the first time that you've texted, you simply text the word hi. So Hardin County, the engagement between TextMyGov is going to send you a text back that's going to say, thank you for contacting us. Give us a keyword that you're looking for. And it's going to give you some examples of keywords, like Daniel said, pothole, animal, roads, ice, anything. And then once you interact with those keywords, it's going to direct you to the department or information that you're needing.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. On a daily basis, are you, I know you look at it, Daniel looks at it, but you look at it also as it comes in. And our directors from our different departments are also looking at that. But kind of give us an idea of how many of those you're seeing, daily.
Daily,
it varies,
Yeah.
and we're getting anyone. I'd say at this point we're averaging probably about 5 a day, and again it's going to come in spurts, and that's hard to measure. Like the recent storm event we had, obviously it's going to be artificially high that day versus a normal day. But that brings to another great point. When we have a snowstorm or ice storm, we have almost 1,000 roads in the county. I think it's exactly 948. As I was looking this morning, which is 600 miles. So we are not right there at every spot, obviously during an event, to know exactly what the condition of that road is, because it takes time to go over that. But if people will text us, particularly through this service, then we can triangulate exactly where our problem areas are. So that has become a great benefit, as we've seen over the last few storms as well.
And one of the things that we've done that a lot of you all don't know about is now we've been able to install a radio system in the road department's vehicles that 911 can actually talk to them while they're out on the road, and can give them those trouble spots and can give them information, and that can be radioed directly from the road department or 911 to those trucks that are out there in the field.
Sure. Well, and a classic example was, I think it was 2 storms back, where we got a little bit of glazing of some ice. We had a problem spot up in the north part of the county. We have to go off a forecast, obviously, in our initial response. And while we were working in that area, we realized the forecast was off, and the southern part of the county got a little more icing than what we had realized. So through TextMyGov, we were able to realize that and redeploy assets. Now, otherwise, we have to do visual inspections, which takes more time.
Leslie, you talked a little bit about how people sign up for TextMyGov. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because folks that are watching may not, they may be older like me and not actually be as savvy with that as you and Daniel are. Talk about that.
It's very simple to sign up. It's not really a sign up type thing. You just simply text the 270-951 0951. And like I said, if you text the word hi, you're going to automatically be in that database.
Okay.
And then you can, if you need information or issues, you can text us.
So that would be a number, like if I wanted to save that number as a contact in my phone, I would simply just put it in as TextMyGov, and then I could actually do a speed dial kind of thing, or pull it up. And
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're saving those phone numbers as well. So whenever we have a special event, like a shredding event or e-scrap or so on, we can send out alerts reminding people of those services.
Similar
as well.
to reverse 911, like
Correct.
we do with our rave system, correct?
That's correct. That is correct. And again, it's a piece. it's a tool for us to be able to be more responsive and provide more opportunities for feedback. Again, we want citizen participation, and this is our way, again, to have another tool other than social media to feedback to help us do our job better and help serve the citizens of the county.
Leslie, are you seeing more people utilize this social platform, so to speak, to give us more information in the county with either with TextMyGov or just, Facebook in general?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or other social media, because Facebook's the one that a lot of us think of. But I mean, there's so many other social media platforms that are utilized by not only folks that are watching this show, but even by the county.
Yeah, we are a technology world now, and it's just getting more and more. And this is just one of the easiest ways that we can simplify the communication to our citizens.
Right. Okay. So, with that being said, you are posting some more information on TextMyGov on social media so folks can pick up on this as well, correct?
Yeah. Constantly sending out reminders, constantly posting the number, because people forget. Continuously reminding them, hey, this is, we're trying to simplify communication with you. We're here for you. And that way they'll remember.
Absolutely. And so, folks, if you all haven't checked out Hardin County Government's Facebook site or some of our other social media platforms that we utilize, or even our webpage, you need to go on there and look, because we give a lot of information out about not only what's going on in the county itself, but even communities, things that we might see as problems. Leslie, you have been baptized in fire, literally, in your new job, because you started right when all the snowstorms hit.
I did.
And so you give a lot of information out about what's going on in the county, places where roads are closed or places where roads have hazards. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my best to keep the community up to date with what's going on within county government. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as our website. If it's information that I think that I want to know about, so does everybody else. And it's just an easy way for, like I said, technology is growing, and it's just an easy way of communication and letting people know what's going on.
That's a great segue into what I was getting ready to talk to you now. We start talking about growing. Daniel London, we've got to pull up our big boy coveralls and slenderalls and underalls and everything else alls as we get to go in this, because this is going to take experience as we start talking about what's going on with Blue Oval. I mean, man, this is hitting. People are wanting to know what's going on. People are inquisitive about jobs. Talk a little bit about our latest info as far as our new plant that's going up in Glendale.
Sure. We're on the world stage now.
Man.
We've been thrust upon it, which is great news. We're all excited about it, but we have work ahead of us. And bringing Leslie on board was part of my 5-year plan. Again, I mentioned earlier being in this job going on my 5th year, and it couldn't happen at a better time with Ford coming on board here in the community to make sure that we have someone that's dedicated on a daily basis to push information out, and she's done a phenomenal job in doing that. Ford is working hard. As people have probably seen in the media, they've submitted permitting through the Army Corps of Engineers for the site. They plan on turning dirt beginning in March. At the height, they're going to have approximately 5,000 construction workers on site. That's going to ebb and flow some, so at certain points it'll be higher, certain points it'll be lower. But we're going to see a lot of activity in Glendale.
And they're cutting trees right now.
They are, which is going to be economic activity all around the county. So we have quite a blessing in this project, and it's very, very exciting. But again, we have work ahead of us in this, and we are undergoing some looks in county government and how we can better position ourselves for what's coming, as well as the community. And the coming few years, we have a lot of work in that regard.
And Daniel, first responders have had an initial meeting with the contractor, correct?
That is correct, to make sure that they're in sync with what's going to be happening at the site, to make sure that we are absolutely at the tip of the spear to be able to respond if something comes up.
Right, so we can ensure not only the safety out there, but the safety of all the citizens in Glendale area that are utilizing those same roads right now.
Absolutely, which is critically important. And I'll say, we've had some great partnerships with Fort Knox, segue with this a little bit. Again, talking about optimization over taxation. That's brought in about $500,000 a year. That in the county government, that's non-tax revenue. That has given us money and the ability to be able to put some things together in county government to be ready to respond to the Ford site if something were to come up during this construction phase. EMS, particularly, obviously that you're well familiar with, to help our budget more on that side. So again, collaboration countywide helps us when we have something such as this. Everyone working together.
So much so that even today, as we speak, Fort Knox had one of their ambulances go down, and we have actually lent them an ambulance so that they can provide their 2 crews service. So we've literally given them a truck today so that they have an extra ambulance.
And of course, they're on board if we need something as well in the community. So that collaboration is critically important. Fort Knox is still the main economic driver in the community, even with Ford. So we're looking at having 2 major employers and economic development drivers here in the community. Most communities just hope to have 1, but we're going to have 2 that are critically important.
And this is going to really impact our southern area of the county, especially with growth. Looking ahead to that, I mean, you've got quite a bit going on in the future.
We do, and to that end, I appreciate you bringing that up. We're going through a budgeting process for next fiscal year now, which will start 1 July. Fiscal court will take up the budgets in March and April. One of those initiatives, Planning and Zoning Commission, is requesting additional funds from fiscal court to update the comprehensive plan. Which needs to be done. We have a couple issues in the community. You know, again, Ford being that major driver, solar being another one that's connects obviously back to Ford. That we need the community input for how we should go forward, where growth should occur within the county. So we'll start the comprehensive planning process, the update to that comprehensive plan, probably late fall, early winter of this calendar year, and again to bring the community in. To make sure that we are all on the same page as we grow, where we need that. On the back side of that, we'll need to do a study based on emergency services, first responders. We need that comprehensive plan done first so we know where the growth corridors are going to be.
And again, that's all technology driven as
well
as what we talked about beginning with this show. You know, with that growth, infrastructure, that we have provided to prepare for this, so to speak. Even before we knew this was coming in, you started preparing a lot of infrastructure growth, especially with 911.
Yeah, we have, and we've done very well there. As you know, we've made quite a few investments in our 911 center, millions of dollars. A lot of that actually has been on the north end of the county. You talk about West Point, talk about Radcliffe, new towers, new infrastructure, so the northern end of the county can communicate better with the rest of the county. That's going to have to obviously continue as we have new technology to upgrade. We're talking about TextMyGov. There are similar programs available for 911 that we can integrate, particularly for domestic violence situations where someone's in a hiding situation. They can text 911 versus talking. So those are the things that we're trying to bring to the community. Again, that's the whole county. That's not just the unincorporated part of the county.
Yeah, people don't realize that there's been over $400,000 invested in the northern end of the county, Radcliffe and West Point, as far as 911 tower systems.
Absolutely.
Not to mention a brand new repeater that we provided for the city of Radcliffe's fire. You know, it's
and again, that's that collaboration across all levels of government to make sure that we're all working together and on the same page to serve our mutual constituents.
Yeah, the collaboration of us dispatching for the entire county. We've never charged any of the cities, you know, for dispatching their fire. So a lot of people don't realize that when we start talking about monies that are going to the northern end, the south end of the county, there's quite a bit of money that has been invested by the county, our tax dollars being utilized to make sure that we not only provide services, dog warden, fire, EMS, all those services to all areas of the county.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we have an EMS station, obviously in north end of the county. That's critically important, and we're having conversations with city leaders to find out how we can expand that even more, particularly 911, to better serve them and perhaps take some of that budgetary strain that they have off of them and put it on the county. Again, part of that collaboration.
Absolutely,
and I mean, optimization.
Yeah, and people don't always realize that because it's not something that you can just go out and tell. A lot of those are behind the scene conversations, right. Because it may work out, it may not.
Right, absolutely.
And so there's no sense in getting folks' hopes up that yes, this is going to happen, or no, it's not, because we don't want people. It's not that we're keeping information away from people. It's just we're trying to lay the groundwork.
Well, it's like looking at a business deal. I mean, you have to do that a little bit. You have to do your due diligence.
Sure.
And you have to do that initial work to put some math together, see how it's going to work for each one, and everyone get out of it what they expect to get out of it.
Hey, Brian and Trish on WQXZ were kind of teasing with us during the last snowstorm. We got some new dump trucks in. That got held up quite a bit because of the chip shortage. We're finally getting some of those dump trucks in. A lot of people kind of laugh, go, dump trucks, how's that become news? I mean, when you've been waiting as long as we have and all the projects that we've got going on, that is a big deal.
It actually is a big deal to us. We were over a year, actually closer to 18 months, I think, Leslie, when we did the math and getting these dump trucks in. And again, we all hear, frankly, are tired of hearing it, but it's still fact, supply chain constraints and restraints. Chip shortage, all those things factored into getting these new dump trucks. We've had the road department's had dump trucks obviously for a lot of years, and unfortunately some of those that are in service are over 20 years old, and very unreliable. Maintenance cost again hitting the taxpayers. One of the initiatives again that I took on when I came in, we surplused a bunch of vehicles. We're not going to spend a bunch of tax dollars in maintenance, but again, we have to replace some of those. And so we ordered 6 new dump trucks about 18 months ago. We finally have received those in. Those are critically important during snow and ice events because of the size of those, particularly as we look at our main priority roads, because those are the ones that we need to scrape those because of the weight and size and so on.
But now people watching at home are going, obviously there's no chip shortage because look how big Bryce has gotten. But it's not those kind of chips.
See,
we're
thankfully
talking
the
about
chocolate chips
electronic
have continued to flow.
Yeah, my barbecue and sour cream and onion chips are still plentiful, but we want to make sure everybody understands what kind of chips we're talking about here.
And I never knew how many chips a dump truck takes, but apparently it's 8. Again, you learn things through this that you don't think about just because situation.
Sure. So are all of those delivered now? And
we do have all of them now and operating. So we are prepared for the next. Hopefully, there's not another snow event, but if there is, we are much better prepared. In a better position than we were previously.
Exactly, and as they put this greenery on the table, we were all laughing, saying,
spring.
"Man, spring!" And I know all of y'all can't wait. We're right on the edge, and we're. This is March's taping here that we're doing a little bit early because I've got to get a full knee replacement here. So thank goodness for Hardin County Education and Community TV, they allowed us to tape this early because I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks, but. We're very hopeful for spring, and I'm hoping that by the time I come back in, everything will be somewhat green.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
At least not white.
Yeah, exactly. So, with all this being said, all this that we're talking about today is technology driven, and it's people may not want to think about ways of the future, but. It truly is what's going on. I think about this with my parents who are 92 and 87, and my mom's like, Norman, you don't need a laptop computer. And so when we look at some of the folks in our community, technology has not been a part of their world as much as it has with folks that are your age and Leslie's age, and being able to make sure that we're able to operate county government efficiently.
Yes, well, not just efficiently, but meet them where they're at in terms of communication. Generational divide, something I've worked a lot on as a strategic planner in the Army. You have to, our lives are divided up in segments, and generational segments, and you have to understand that and knowing how to communicate and meet them where they are. My grandson, who's 3 years old, is never going to remember having a phone call without seeing someone, versus I remember a rotary phone.
Right.
So it's very different, and those type nuances has to dictate how we communicate and we feed information to meet them where they're at, and for them to have the opportunity to communicate with us the way that they want to communicate.
And I think it's very important that what you talked about with the plan that Adam King and his group are working on, the only way that we can proceed effectively with Hardin County government is to plan for the future.
Absolutely, but to ensure that everyone is in agreement with the path forward. And again, when you do a comprehensive plan update, that takes in community input, community meetings, community involvement to make sure. Now, there's not going to be 100% agreement. That's impossible.
Right.
But we can find a solution that's closest to being that 100% agreement and move out and move forward in that. And it's critically important to have the right people in the right places, which I think we do with our Planning and Zoning Commission, particularly our executive director, as we move forward in the growth in this community.
And that could even be said in our departments here at the county as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got a great team.
You've done a great job in organizing and making sure you and Judge Barry both have made a great team.
It's been a work in progress, but we've been able to bring on great people like Leslie to communicate, get the word out, and you know, it's to make an organization better. It's constant work, and I think we've put that in and made it that.
Leslie, for closing comments, give us that number for TextMyGov one more time. I know Daniel's got it over there in front of him.
Sure, it's 270-951-0951.
And we'll put that at the bottom of the screen so that you all can see it. And we get the logo at the bottom of the screen too so that you can see that. To be able to look at anything that may be a concern to you throughout the county, that you're able to text us, let us know. And if you're not able to do that when you get home, maybe drop us a line on one of your social platforms too, correct?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Awesome.
And one note, TextMyGov is not an emergency number.
Right.
So please, if you have an emergency, call 911. This is for non-emergent issues.
And I'm glad you bring that up, Daniel, because a lot of people nowadays tell us, I didn't call 911 because I didn't want to bother you all. Folks, we have probably 50 to 60 lines that come into 911. We've got plenty of room for anybody that calls, and so even when we had I hate to bring this up, the 35-car pileup on the WK when we had the 6 to 8 inches of snow, we were getting just loaded with 911 calls, but it did not overwhelm the system. And that would be one of those things that you think it could, but it didn't. So don't ever think that you're too little or you're unimportant for you to call 911, because that's what it's there for, to take care and to make sure that we're able to help our citizens. So
That's what you pay your taxes for.
exactly.
So if you have an emergency, call.
Anything in closing?
I think I'm good. I think we covered everything. Appreciate the opportunity.
And thank you all for being here, and thank you both for what you do to keep our county safe and healthy and make it a place where we all want to live and raise our family every day. So
Yes, thank you for having
love
us.
it.
thank you all for joining us on Hardin County Education and Community TV, where we try to keep you informed on what's going on in this big county that we love called Hardin County, but more importantly, what's going on in your students' life in the Hardin County school system. I'm Bryce Shoemate from Hardin County Government. Thanks for joining us, and make sure that you stay safe and you stay alert as we get into this springtime, because they're informing us that it could be a wet spring. Make sure if you're near a flooding area that you pay particular attention as we go through this spring.